Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. My name is Jane and I'm your partner for bookkeeping. Together with me, I have Irene Sky, who is the partner for employment law. And today we're going to talk about fringe benefits. So fringe benefits is a form of other pay, other than money for the performance of services by employees. And we have some of, questions that get asked a lot. And we're going to talk about the limitations surrounding employment benefits. And I actually have a question for Irene to get us started. Are employers allowed to provide different benefits to different employees?
Hi, Jane. So that's definitely a question that we get asked quite often when employers are setting up their package for some employment benefits that they're going to provide. And a lot of the times that question is asked between full-time employees versus part-time employees, but also sometimes our clients come in and they just want to offer different types of benefits based on how they negotiated with certain employees. And so employers are allowed to provide different benefits to different groups, but they must be similarly situated employees. The benefits must be equal for each member of that group. And those groups can be, for example, as I mentioned, the part-time employees and the full-time employees. Those benefits could be, for example, for some employees that have been grandfathered in and there for a certain period of time before certain policies have changed, but groups cannot be formed around or based on certain protected characteristics, such as, of course, age, sex, disability status, marital status, etc. And groups can be formed around the basis of things such as, again, as we had mentioned, that full-time, part-time, that's the most common, typically group between those individuals that will receive benefits and those that will not. Another group could be length of service. So certain benefits are allowed to kick in after, let's say, a year of employment or after 5 years of employment with the company. And so that is permitted. Regarding job description as well, have to be very careful with this one. It has to be very narrowly tailored. And so it's very important that you review that description so that that description of employment does not in any way infringe on any of the protected classes. And of course, an exempt versus non-exempt classification of employment as well. And there are other groups where you can piece this out as well. But I did want to go a little bit further and just ask you a question about fringe benefits. And just to start, what fringe benefits are taxable?
Okay, it's a great question. So some of the expenses, such as moving expenses, bicycle commuting, clothing, they have to be included in taxable income for employees. So they can get reimbursed, but you have to be, as an employee, including it to your taxable income. There's mileage reimbursement and educational reimbursement that are not taxable, but to a certain extent. Anything over a certain limit has to be included in taxable income. And also awards and prizes have to be taxable as well. So kind of like a tax-free benefit that is used 100% for work is not taxable. So for example, if we have Bob, who's like a small business owner, and they lease a computer and they give that computer to their employee so they could work from home. So as long as that employee is using the computer 100% for work, it's tax-free. But if he uses, let's say, 50% of it for personal purposes and another 50% for work, so that 50% has to be included. And it basically is the market value of that computer. The same thing would be like a company car. If that lease and the company, the employee is using that car to drive for work, then it is not taxable. But if part of it is used for personal use, so you would take the lease value and then include it to your taxable income as well. And some of the non-taxable fringe benefits would be accident health benefits, health savings account, if an employer is providing cell phones, group life insurance, and employee discounts, that doesn't have to be taxable.
Okay, that's great. So one of the questions that we're asked even here in the office, and also that my clients ask as well, has to do with gym memberships. We're asked oftentimes, just recently, our office manager asked if we could provide benefits or a portion of the benefits that she otherwise receives by offering a free gym membership. instead, and that would be her non-taxable or some fringe benefit. So I think a question that a lot of business owners have is, can a gym membership be written off for their employees?
That is also a great question. And I think you're not going to really like the answer. I think a lot of the clients don't like this answer, but to make it short, you're actually not allowed to take it as a business deduction. However, there's an exception. So the exception is if you're an employer and you provide a gym facility, fitness center that is primarily used for employees, their spouses, and dependent children, nobody else, and it doesn't have to be where your office is, but it could be the business lease property or something that the business owns. It's a kind of like on premises athletic facility. Um, then it could be, deducted, but nobody else is allowed to use the facility, right? So it's like I think most people will not meet that requirement. So if you do meet the rules, then you could offer this and deduct that as a business expense. Otherwise, and the employees don't have to include it in their taxable income. However, I think it's a little bit hard to just include it as your business expense.
Yes, without having to build an entire gym.
Right.
So
So I would think
okay.
that to make it short that no, we're not allowed to deduct it as a business expense.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And I think we kind of touched on a lot of different fringe benefits. Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thanks.
Thank you.